Good evening and welcome to this live news from the news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Sultanate condemns the terrorist attacks in the Qatif Governorate in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and in the northeastern Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. The first walking session of the G20 Summit starts in Hamburg, Germany. A suicide car bomb and heavy gunfire on an Egyptian military checkpoint in northeastern Sinai killed 10 security troops. And the UNESCO declares old city of Hebron as a protected heritage site. Thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Sultanate condemns the terrorist attack that targeted a security patrol in Qatif Governorate in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and a suicide bombing in northeastern Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. The Sultanate, in a statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, affirms its position with Saudi Arabia and Egypt against the terrorism and violence. The statement expressed the Sultanate's condolences to the victims' families, the government and people of Saudi Arabia and Egypt, wishing the injured a speedy recovery. Now, all the way to German Chancellor Angela Merkel told a group of 20 leaders today that millions of people are hoping that they can help solve the world's problems. At the first walking session of the G20 Summit, Merkel said she is sure that every leader will make an effort to achieve a good result, but solutions can only be found if they are ready to compromise. Merkel said that leaders also should name their differences. The G20 comprises Argentina, Australia, Brazil, China, Germany, France, Britain, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Canada, South Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, the United States and the European Union. Saudi Arabia's King Salman is not attending, and his country is represented by State Minister Ibrahim Al-Assaf. Also attending the summit are the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Guinea, Senegal, Singapore and Vietnam. Militants unleashed a suicide car bomb and heavy gunfire on an Egyptian military checkpoint in northeastern Sinai Peninsula today, leaving 10 security troops, including a Special Forces colonel, dead and wounding at least 20. The blitz attack began when a suicide car bomber rammed his vehicle into a military checkpoint in the southern Rafah village of Al-Berth, followed by a heavy gunfire from dozens of masked militants on foot. Security officials said that the militants arrived at the site, located in a remote, deserted area in some 24 Land Cruisers SUVs. They opened fire on the soldiers with machine guns for nearly half an hour. After the attack, the militants looted the checkpoint, taking weapons and ammunition. The next army compound is an hour's drive, which left the soldiers with no support except for local armed tribesmen from Tarabin, who have their own small checkpoints nearby. US-backed forces struggled to gain ground against the Daesh group in Syria's Raqqa today, facing a wave of car bombs and mortars unleashed by the group. The Syrian Democratic Forces penetrated Raqqa's old city earlier this week after US-led coalition airstrikes pierced 2 holes in its ramparts. However, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights Monitoring Group said the SDF and a unit of allied Arab fighters called the Syrian elite forces have made little progress inside the historical quarterette. The observatory estimates that up to 30% of Raqqa has been captured by the US-backed forces since they entered the city on June 6th. The Palestinians held a UNESCO decision today to label the heart of the occupied West Bank city of Hebron a protected heritage site, but Israel called it a moral blot. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry said the vote is a success for the diplomatic battle fought by Palestine on all fronts in the face of Israeli and American pressure on member states. UNESCO's Heritage Committee voted 12-3 with 6 abstentions to give heritage status to the old city in the center of Hebron, where a few hundred Jewish settlers live under heavy Israeli military protection in the midst of more than 200,000 Palestinians. Marathon talks aimed at ending Cyprus conflicts collapsed early today without a deal, despite an 11th-hour bid by the United Nations chief to rescue them. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres was upbeat when he first joined the Crans Montana talks late last week, describing the negotiations as highly constructive and urging the rival Cypriot sides to seize a historic opportunity to reach a comprehensive settlement to the conflict that has divided Cyprus for too many decades. Cyprus is one of the world's longest-running political crises, and the United Nations-backed talks that began in the Swiss alpine resort of Crans Montana on June 20th had been billed as the best chance to end the island's 40-year division. You're watching this alternate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin. Sepak takraw is a centuries-old sport in the Far East where players kick and head the ball over the net but aren't allowed to touch it with their hands or arms. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Rescuers in Japan are scrambling to find more than 20 people missing after huge flood swept across the country's south this week, killing 11 and leaving a trail of destruction. Raging rivers overflowing with water and mud have devastated the swathes of Kyushu, the southernmost of Japan's 4 main islands, after heavy rainfall sweeping away roads and houses and destroying schools. Thousands of rescuers have been fighting through thick mud and battling the rain to search for missing and stranded people, with more than 1,100 believed to be cut off, according to public broadcaster NHK. Now, all the way to Indonesia, performing overhead kicks and headers to the fire a ball over the net, Indonesia's national Sepak takraw players put on a dazzling display of athleticism during a training in an elite police force base. More details in the following report.
Acrobatic and spectacular. This is Sepak takraw, a sport native to Southeast Asia. It's popular here in Indonesia, but the country has long lagged behind its neighbors in the battle for dominance.
Sepak
takraw is a combination of football, volleyball and badminton. You play with your feet, but in a field like badminton, and the game is like volleyball.
In August, the Southeast Asia Games will take place in Kuala Lumpur. And Indonesia's team has begun training at the base of an elite police unit on the island of Sumatra.
This is the perfect place for them to train. They receive discipline and will get physically and mentally prepared here.
The sport is centuries old and was originally played with a ball made from rattan. In recent years, Thailand has dominated the sport, but Myanmar is also gaining strength. Indonesia's mobile brigade officers are aiming for a change.
We are very proud and honored that we can help our national athletes.
In 2018, Indonesia will host the Asian Games, putting even more pressure on the team. But with a little military discipline and a lot of training, Team Indonesia counts on bringing home some medals.
Consumer exhibition at Recreational Center in Salalah is one of the main activities of Salalah Tourism Festival. It attracts many visitors from inside and outside the Sultanate. It contains more than 300 shops with local, Arab and international participation. It includes items such as clothes, accessories, electronic appliances, children toys and games, perfumes, cosmetics, bags and gifts. The exhibition will be open for visitors on daily basis till the 31st of August. A number of wilayas in the Sultanate witnessed today moderate to heavy rains. In the Governorate of Dakhliya, moderate to heavy rain fell on the wilayas of Nizwa, Izki and Samail. The wilayas of Rustaq and Awaiba in the Governorate of South Al-Batna witnessed moderate to heavy rains, causing tributaries to overflow. In the Governorate of Al-Dhahira, heavy rains fell on some areas in the wilayas of Ibri and Yanqal, causing some wadis to overflow. The following are pictures for rains witnessed by the Governorate of Al-Dhahira. And now, let's have a look at the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Partly cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and its nearby mountains, with chances of intermittent drizzle. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies. Winds will be south to southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate condemns the terrorist attacks in the Qatif Governorate in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and in the northeastern Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. The first working session of the G20 Summit starts in Hamburg, Germany. A suicide car bomb and heavy gunfire on an Egyptian military checkpoint in the northeastern Sinai killed 10 security troops. And the UNESCO declares old city of Hebron as a protected heritage site. And with that, we come to an end of tonight's news bulletin. From the entire news team and myself, we thank you for joining us. Wish you a pleasant evening and good night.